So in this segment, we're going to be talking about Labour target's new swing voter called middle-aged mortgage man. Buckle up, people. Have some tea or some good tea, because this video sucks. So you've met Mondeo man and Worcester woman. Now meet the key swing voter Labour hopes will win the next election for them, called middle-aged mortgage man. I've not heard of any of them. These are the worst superhero names ever. Party insiders say they are being ruthless about targeting exactly the kind of voters they believe will put them back into power, homing in on people who previously lost faith with Labour but have been personally affected by the spike in interest rates caused by Liz Truss's mini budget. So, mortgage holders, landlords and renters, but wait, they're not actually targeting renters, despite all three being impacted by the recent interest rate hikes. Rob Ford, a professor of political science at Manchester University, describes archetypal voters as male, 50 years old, without a university degree but with a decent job in the private sector, and crucially a homeowner with a mortgage. This person almost certainly voted Leave, Ford added, explaining Labour's insistence that it will not take the UK back into the single market, which we can't do anyways, but we move. He forgot to add white. I don't know why he did forget to mention that these are predominantly white voters, but okay. How many of these people actually exist? I'm assuming this is an archetypal swing voter, maybe. This is a product of aggressive triangulation, and it makes me wonder, are focus groups just stacked with these people? It's weird. Ford said in 2019 Labour desperately wanted Leave voters in Scunthorpe to hear a different message from Remain voters in South London, but that strategy didn't work. It's more than just to that. It's Johnson went out of his way to target red wall seats with the idea of levelling up. It is more than just Labour's failure to it was a Tory attack combined with the Brexit Party. That won't happen in the next election. Level up is dead, and the Brexit Party might eat away more at the Tory than just Labour. Comparing 2019 to a future election does not make sense. Johnson managed to almost rebrand the Tory party, but he's gone, and Sunak has been shown to be just another David Cameron, the Brexit version. Austerity, that's about it. It's kind of what Donald Trump did in I think it's the 2016 election, or whenever the American one was, when he beat Hillary Clinton. It wasn't just that Hillary Clinton lost the Rust Belt, which you can kind of attribute to being similar to the Red Wall. It was Donald Trump went out of his way to target these voters, which didn't work in the 2020 election. Just like the Tories won't keep the Red Wall in any future election. What they need this time is to find a median voter who will help them win back the seats they won next time and go after them. That is middle-aged mortgage man. It looks like they're hoping that by appealing to this mythical person, they'll get enough like-minded voters to vote Labour as well. It's a bold strategy. One Labour strategist in the leader's office told The Guardian, for a long time, every time we talked to the public, we were trying to talk to 4 or 5 different groups of people. It's almost like the public have a diverse set of beliefs and ideas, like we're not all 50 years old and white males working in the private sector with mortgages. Maybe, just maybe, that's the case. Going to the next election, we've got to have this one person in our minds whenever we're doing media appearances or advertising. That's how we win. It looks like they looked at the Brexit referendum and the 2019 election and learnt the wrong things. The Tories use targeted ads, so that combined with social media tries to hit voters with the things that appeal to them most, be it policies or attacks on other parties. This strategist looks like a joke, to be honest. And the thing is, they'll stumble into the win and it will make it look like they're that these strategies actually work, when realistically we'll see what happens in a couple of elections time if Labour continue on with these dog-ass strategies. An analysis by The Guardian from data from the British election study shows that after years of steadily gaining ground with middle-aged mortgage man, Labour slumped 5 points with these voters in 2019, while the Tories gained nearly a percentage point. This proved crucial in the North and Midlands, where the party lost multiple seats and where the Guardian analysis shows these voters are more prevalent. This is what Labour are fixated on, and you can argue that this is what they need to do to win. But if Labour lost 5 points for these people and the Tories only gained 1 point, where did the other 4 points go? To the Brexit Party? Did they not vote? What happened to that other 4 percentage points? But if it did, if it's the case that these people did go on to vote Tory, there's little chance Labour will actually struggle to win these people over. I think they'll struggle because of the Reform Party. By May this year, the Tories were down 22 points among those voters, so the mortgage man, But Labour was also down just over a point, with 15% saying they simply do not know how they will vote next time. So Tories have lost a lot of support of Mortgage Man. Makes sense given interest rates, but where has all their support gone? 15% don't know, but that does leave a lot of people saying they don't know who they're going to vote for. I think it's going to be the Reform Party that will get their support, or maybe the Greens or Lib Dems. It depends how Mortgage Man views the next election. That's going to be the key. Appealing to these voters means not showing any sign of wanting to renegotiate the Brexit agreement with the EU, says party insiders, hence Starmer's unwillingness to even accept that returning to the single market would boost growth. It's why he's denying it, because he doesn't want to give the appearance that he's going to get any real alignment with the EU. But the fact is, he's got to deal with reality once he comes into government, and once the growth figures are still low, what's his excuse going to be then? And it makes no sense, because Labour also promises to make Brexit work, so that means changes have to happen. Labour say they will get an SPS agreement, amongst other things. That means you will have to negotiate with the EU. So with this, so on one hand, why are you saying you won't renegotiate for Mortgage Man? On the other hand, they are attacking the Tory Brexit, and they claim they will get various agreements to help resolve the issues and make Brexit work. They're also telling businesses that they are going to try and make Brexit work. How can you do that with no negotiations? It makes no sense. Ian Lavery, the MP for the northeastern seat of Wansbeck, said lots of Labour supporting Brexit voters at the last election thought our position on Europe was basically telling them that we were wrong. We need to win back the trust with exactly those people. To an extent, I get that by pushing a second referendum, it does push the idea that the voters were wrong, but the voters were wrong. In 2017, Labour were not pushing the second referendum, but ironically, Starmer pushed to have that changed in 2019. Odd how his ideals can change so quickly. But winning over middle-aged Mortgage Man means more than just not giving away on Brexit, says pollsters. It means keeping an election campaign focused on economic issues. I do wonder how much of it will have to focus on immigration. Tapping into the sense of financial insecurity exacerbated by this year's mini-budget and the subsequent spike in interest. It's fine to focus on the economy, but by focusing just on mortgage holders makes no sense. Labour should be pushing rent reforms as well, given how much of a shambles the rent sector is in. I get swing voters are key, but Labour can do so much more. Labour strategists say they plan to reach these voters largely through local television and radio, but the party has also revamped its digital team under the aegis of digital director Tom Lillywhite, and is planning a series of digital advertisements to appeal specifically to this group. It's going to be so much fun when the hosts of these TV and radio shows ask Labour what their solutions will be and they start to malfunction. But focusing outside of social media makes some sense, especially because a lot of the channels like LBC and the BBC often repost clips to their social media. I did make the mistake of them thinking they were going to completely move away from social media, but they're not. They are going to take out adverts. I just wonder how much of that, how much funding they're going to have versus the Tory party. Lillywhite is recruiting an army of digital operatives who are being told to find local advocates for Labour who might be better positioned to win back the trust of the people, like middle-aged Mortgage Man, than the party's own MPs are. This makes a lot of sense, as it'll feel less like people from London talking down to people in other parts of the country, and they can actually talk about their experiences with local problems, like the damn buses where I live. If I went on local radio and said the buses suck in this town, and this is what Labour are going to do to fix it, I think that will hold a lot more clout than someone from, say, London, North London, saying the buses in Northampton suck, we need to fix it. If you actually live here, it gives your words a lot more sway. Quote, we need ordinary people to be our message carriers, people who can say, I used to vote Tory, now I vote Labour, said one party insider. That will give other people permission to cross over. Again, makes sense, breaks any taboo for people, and the lifelong, Tories will feel less shame and will maybe see like-minded people vote for someone else that's not Conservative. Maybe they'll vote Lib Dem, or maybe they'll vote Labour, I don't know. But while party leaders plot their way with middle-aged Mortgage Man, others worry it is narrowing Labour's appeal. It's fine to say that middle-aged men are our priority, middle-aged white men, said one senior MP, but where is our offer to young voters, the voters of colour, the disabled voters? We are at risk here of losing the voters we have worked so hard to turn out in recent elections. Also, where is the offer to women? Because this is Mortgage Man, not Mortgage Woman. You need a broad range of people to win an election. For the left to win, you need a rainbow coalition, but maybe this lot are more centrist, maybe even centre right, close to Cameron. So maybe they don't need the Rainbow Coalition. But what Labour are playing a dangerous game of assuming their base will just turn out so they can pivot onto other voters. It did work for Johnson, but he didn't fully ditch the Tory traditional voters in the 2019 election. Labour are going to struggle to find people in the grassroots to help with turnout. I think they're banking on maybe a low turnout election, but Mortgage Man alone won't get them a dub. But it's a bold strategy, Khan. Let's see how that plays off for him, because let's not forget Hillary Clinton tried to appeal to a different set of voters and it just didn't work. And if the Reform Party are in play, it might be the case that certain people look at the Tory party and say, they're a bit too Cameron-esque or a bit too centre-right for my liking. I'm going to have pure right-wing juice, the real stuff, not this Labour pretending to be something they're not juice. I'm going to have the real stuff, the haterade, pure haterade, plug it into their veins, because that's what these people love. They hate foreigners, they hate people that are trying to get on in life, they want to keep everything they have, and then a lot of these people will be NIMBYs, no doubt. They won't want more properties being built in their areas because it'll lower their house value, but then they'll moan when their kids can't get on the housing ladder. These sorts of people. And I do wonder how many of these people actually exist, probably far more than I'd like to imagine, but I don't think it'll be enough for Labour. I can imagine a lot of these people switching to the Reform Party instead of the Labour Party. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.